I would like to welcome Ali Keles in our next episode of Bus Chair Conversations, a series of dialogues with people from arts and culture about slowing down and contemplating the future in the aftermath of the first global pandemic. Ali Keles is a silent figure behind many companies. His dental clinic group has received numerous awards for fastest growing business in the Netherlands. Ali Keles is a lawyer by education, investor and a corporate financier by profession, but also an art collector and a patron of culture by heart. Welcome.
Thank you, Tomas.
How did the break on the economy impacted your business? Are you a survivor?
Well, I think it's impacted the whole world. In that sense, I don't feel alone. We had a few moments in the beginning. It was quite exciting and challenging because some of our companies, you mentioned the dental group, was needed to close down and was only allowed completely only allowed to work for emergency cases. So it means almost the loss of your whole revenue stream. Yeah. And with a group of this size and a lot of personnel and staff, it was a bit challenging and exciting. Mm-hmm. So I think the first 2 days I didn't sleep that much. I had to arrange a lot of things such as banks, repayment of loans, ensure the future of the company. And I think it was the first time I felt in my, let's say, professional career. I mean, I'm not talking about 2008, but like this pandemic, what happened. Mm-hmm. I had to really be sharp and keen the few days. So it was challenging, but after a few days, I felt I did what I needed to do to survive, and also for the companies to survive. And then I think a certain, let's say, a comfort zone is not the good word, but I felt we needed to do something. Right. So we started, for example, to innovate. We created a medical mask with oxygen for our medical staff. We created, together with a supplier and an engineer, a machine to clean the air, did tests. So in a way, it helped us to be creative, and to answer your question, it showed me back who I am. In a way, I saw who am I actually, what does this crisis do to me and my surroundings, and I think we are a survivor, but I think everyone has a survivor in him. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that you managed to recover, or let's say put everything on the right path within such a limited amount of time of 2 days. So congratulations on that. But do you feel you've been a survivor your whole life? Because it seems like you thrive in adversity.
Spot on, I think. I mean, if I look as from my birth until now, we had to always fight for a position or fight to create something, or when you have a lack of means and you want to create something, I mean, in a way you have to survive it or you have to fight for it. So it's not an uncommon feeling for me that I am in this fighting modus, although one of my juniors a few years ago, he said, when I met you first, I found you were much more in a fighting modus than today. You're much more at ease. So I kind of got worried. I thought, is it a good or a bad thing? Right. But I think in a way it's good to not be in a constant modus of survival. And as an addition, I mean, I saw it was almost a schizophrenic situation, because at the same time the dental group stopped and the revenue stopped, there were other sectors we were involved in. Things went, like all of a sudden we had a rise because some people wouldn't invest. So we got a huge opportunity. It was interesting to see that in a day you have major differences in your business. So I felt both sides.
It was a turmoil in both directions.
Indeed.
Interesting. Yeah. Only a fool would force someone to predict the future, needless to say, a decade. I mean, we can hardly predict the weather. What do you think, or let's say, do you feel, it may appear feelings are a good alibi in this case, is the next decade going to be much different from the previous one?
I think we had this pandemic as a global appearance. I see it on the streets. People seem to be more tolerant to each other. Okay. I feel more kindness. When I'm in a shop, maybe the first days, people were exaggerating in terms of buying things because they feared there was a war maybe almost, and they would have lack of means to get and buy necessary groceries. But if I look today, I feel that people are more slowed down, you know, and then they're more kind. So I hope maybe in a way that we will consume slower. In terms of economy, it wasn't a system crisis. 2008 was a real system crisis, a default in the system, let's say, a financial crisis as a consequence. And this was something no one expected to happen. And if I look at 10 years maybe, and also the coming years, I mean, we are just kind of coming out of this period in the Netherlands, out of this slow lockdown, intelligent lockdown we call it, and now intelligent unlocked, as the Prime Minister said. And we focused a lot on, let's say, keeping the companies alive, so they are able to keep the staff and the workers in the companies and not to need to fire them. So there has been a huge cash in from the government. The companies at the same time kept the workers, as we did as well, and paid them. And now there's a responsibility for the consumer. Right. Because financial crisis usually comes in a way
so you
if the spending
consumption.
stops. I mean, in a way, I would say not exaggerated, but I think it's good for also the government maybe to kind of really actively speak out that we can go back to normal. And back to normal doesn't mean go spend double, but spend as you did, go back to your normal situation. The government pumped in the money, the employees did, and now it's your time to keep the circle go wrong.
Let's talk about art. I am very much interested to hear your view from the other side as an art collector. Artists, art historians, journalists, curators, I can go on, are in one way or another always invested in the question, what is art? Does this question ever occur to you when you look at creations of other human beings or nature? Does it really matter?
Well, I mean, defining art is very personal.
Of course, yeah.
My start in art maybe was, let's say, 15 years ago when I was, no, longer, 20 years ago in high school, having art history classes, having to guess, looking at the dia photo, guess which time period or time slot it was, guessing a few times right, and then think oh, this looks positive, you're onto something, although you don't know nothing. Yeah. I think I was lucky around my 19th or 20th age. A friend of mine who I studied together with, his father is an important collector, and at the same time he was a long-term chairman of the Pan Amsterdam. And when I was around 19 years old, I was invited to come to the opening, quite excited, not knowing what's going on, but feel a lot of excitement looking around. And from that point on, slowly looking and learning yourself on what you like and why you like it and develop a certain taste.
Did you at any moment had already an inclination to own something, be next to it every day, look at it every day?
I mean, at that point, if you don't have any financial means too much as a student.
But you could have had a feel. Did you have that?
I had feelings, but I was still seeking for and looking around what was.
Being careful.
Careful. What's appealing to me. I think I wasn't really aware about the culture of collecting yet.
Yes.
So also in that terms, I was still a bit naive, maybe. And slowly on, it developed until one moment I was able to buy art. But defining art and what's art to you is, I mean, if I look at myself and my personal development in the art and understanding art, I could define art as it's let's say our social awareness, or in a way our social conscience. For me personally, it feels the last few years, especially as a form of oxygen, even.
Oh, really? Interesting comparison.
To get away from the daily business life. I found when people ask me, do you have hobbies, or what do you do? And I have to be honest, if I go to an art fair or a gallery or we're doing a studio visit, it's breathtaking in a way, but at the same time it gives you a way of oxygen to continue your daily life.
It's beautiful.
It's art struck me in a way it doesn't let me go anymore. So it's like a personal development.
Yeah. When did you start collecting? I mean, you already mentioned that you went to art fairs. You already were looking at things with the kind of eye for would I like it, why, and things like that. How did this become a serious thing?
Well, I don't know if I need to call it serious, but
Wow.
we enjoy.
You take it seriously.
I take it seriously. I think one of my first baby steps was when I first visited Christie's, the auction house.
Okay.
And,
Where?
It was in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And I think I was aged like around 24, maybe.
So 24-year-old Ali visits an auction.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
A 24-year-old. And I heard that Charlie Chaplin's inventory and some artworks and other stuff he owned would come out for sale via the auction house Christie's. And I saw a gramophone in the collection book. And it looks also affordable because they asked 250 euros for it.
Yeah.
So it's lot number 3, I think.
And
So I went there. Before I went there, on my way, I called my later partner and my friend also, who was a chairman and a collector, and I asked him, I'm going to an auction house and this is the price they're asking for a gramophone, which is not working, by the way.
Did you tell him it was Charlie Chaplin's?
Exactly,
Okay.
I told him that, and I said, like, I brought with me some money. Would it go 6 times or 8 times or 10 times the price?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
would
yeah,
it be 2,550 to 1,500 to 2,500? What would it be? And he said, well, yeah, I think, maybe max. I was like, okay, comfortable, let's go. And I arrived there, quite busy day, a lot of press, so it was quite exciting also for me. And I sat down, and after lot 1 and lot 2, which almost went for the price as asked, I thought, okay, this is going to be easy.
Comfortable.
This is going to be easy.
250.
So I sat down, and I first watched around what's going to happen, and someone said 350, 450. I think it was around 6 or 650. I started to bid, and I did a bid, raised my hand, and then no one raised his hand again. So I thought, I think I got it. But I was so excited when the auction representative said again, 650, anyone. I raised my hand again over my own price. So it was so funny. And I was like, after thinking about it, it was like so stupid.
I mean, it's a classic sketch like kind of thing.
650,
Mr. Bean.
Okay, 700. Overbid myself, and just to show the people
that you
it's
really
mine,
want it.
Don't try it. It's like this stupid childish behavior, I think. I don't know, naive maybe. And then all of a sudden, a call came in. And I saw 6 people sitting in a row waiting for calls. And I wasn't really aware it's going to happen. And someone called, they rang, and said 750. I'm like, what's going on? And then we came to 1,000, we came to 2,000, we came to 2,500. And I was slowly going slower and slower with my answers. If I would
hesitating more.
But the guy or lady on the phone was going quicker and quicker every time. And at one point, I realized I just did a bid again, which I don't have in my pockets here with me.
Right.
What am I doing? This is not good. Yeah. And then after I realized, it was also really funny to tell, I read the book. Of course, the auction house would do an amount on top of the price it was sold.
In addition to,
I think it was around 30%. And like later on, I thought I don't have the money with me, and I was not able to buy it, so I left Christie's.
Okay, so you didn't win the auction.
I didn't win the auction. Driving back, kind of sad. I came home, opened the news. I think evening hour around 8 o'clock, and at the news it was shown the auction
itself,
exactly in the news, and someone valuable there. They interviewed him and asked him about the auction about Charlie Chaplin. And then he said, Charlie Chaplin has to be seen, not to be owned. And that was a kind of a relief for me. And also it influenced my way, how I maybe in a way also later on, how I view that we collect, we buy, but it's more a way of conserving or kind of keeping, keep it close to you because you want to look at it while being alive, but maybe after us, you have to ensure that it keeps being conserved.
Parallel with the museum's role in society, private collectors play a very important role, which is exactly what you said, preserving the time we live in, because museums roll maybe in a different mode.
Yes.
They have different program, different interests. They are under much more control. They cannot make crazy decisions. And for you, from your part, it's a testimony on who you were when you lived.
It's a corporate collection. We called it the Lakeside Collection, named to the premises we are in. Became a member of the Dutch Association for Corporate Collectors.
Okay.
It's called VBCN, actually. Really happy. It's like a learning curve. I'm attending meetings and commission meetings there, all curators who have a lot of knowledge, and I just feel like it's a candy shop learning about art and conservation.
Are you a type of collector who sees something and buys it immediately, or you're the other way around?
Hardly. I have had days that I would see something and I would say, option it at the fair, walk around, maybe call my advisor, send a picture, ask him, what do you think, or ask her. And usually we consume very slowly because it's quite personal what you do, but you want to feel that it's something you feel truly and not a daily excitement that you see something at that moment, it hits you, but later on it doesn't keep with you. So for me, the way to test if it is for life is if I'm a few months later still thinking about it in time.
Right.
I know it struck me in a way. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What would you advise to young would-be collectors? Is money the only passport to the land of a private collection?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, what I said, art is not needed to be possessed per se. In a way, it's a huge support to artists. So if you are able and capable and you like an art piece, buy it, keep it at home, keep it close to you. It's a way of contemplating, it's a way of slowing down. It's a mirror for us. So every time when you see an artwork and it hits you, it says something about yourself.
Absolutely.
Why it hits you and why not keep that piece close to you that you feel that more often.
Right.
And there are many ways of buying art. You can pay with installments. You can talk to a gallery about it.
There are systems
Government
designed for that, yeah?
designed to it to support artists. So my advice would be try to understand what you like, how you conserve it, consume it also, and of course buy. Start. Don't wait.
You have set up your company's head office as well as your corporate collection in a location that screams silence and contemplation. The property is surrounded by nature and a large body of water. Why this place? And I think it's a nice relationship between how you make your choices really slow. Does this reflect also the way you do business and collect art? The choice you made to set up your company outside of the business district in isolation? Good
question. Interesting. Well, I'm a born and raised Rotterdammer, so I was always fond of the Parklaan in Rotterdam, in the Euromast. Beautiful street where I always imagined myself one day until I saw the location where we are now, which is out of the city center with the lake, with green environment, still good accessible. I saw it was love at first sight. I think almost 10 years ago. When I saw it, then I thought, okay, if something is going to replace Parkland, then this should be it in a way. And I'm more at my office than I'm home awake. so I spend a lot of time there. So it's more my home even. And what we do is in a professional way, you teach yourself to business in a professional way. So I mean, I rather call it enabling. We're kind of an incubator center. Thought processes go around, ideas come along. We want to be self-critic. We want to overthink, don't go overnight. So in a way, it's also indeed saying something about your way of approach. And we have a corporate social responsibility in things we do. So yeah, the nature environment and the office and also the artworks we're allowed to have around us help in this awareness.
Beautiful. Leonard Cohen, the American songwriter and a poet, wrote, "Poetry is just the evidence of life. If your life is burning well, poetry is just the ash." What is your ash? And I'm asking you because one of my first descriptions of you in the beginning was that you're a patron of culture. You're not only involved in collecting art, but it goes beyond that. Can you elaborate on that? What drives this personal passion to be involved in cultural support in general?
I think it comes. It's kind of in your. It comes in your DNA. As a young child, I always wanted to create something. If it was an opportunity I would see, or if it's a creation you can do. And in a way, I told before to you, it's a way of enabling. I mean, you know, you have some certain strengths, and you know your weak spots as well. But you want to see something get alive, and I think that's have always pushed me in my life to do something, and it can be establishing a company, nurturing it, making it grow, give water, feed it in a way, create a good environment for it, so it gets grown up phase at one point. But it's similar for arts and culture. I mean, I think it was around 2014 we established a film festival, which has been a while actually. It was called the Red Tulip Film Festival, together with friends. It was only an idea at a dinner. We should do something. We should really, and a good partner of ours has established one in Rome, and it was an example for us how to do it. So you get the idea of doing it and supporting it. Then you want to tell the story to find support for it in a broad sense, because if you don't have a public, there's nothing. And that's the combination, I think, to do back, to give back. And I know it's a bit classic phrasing, give back, but it's a thing of I'm conscious of maybe daily, that we are here not for the long run. At one point, we leave, in a way. And when you leave, that moment, I think, when you close your eyes to this world, at least you want to feel that you fulfilled your life and you have done something where you feel that you taken out the most you can of yourself, and culture is an important part of it.
Beautiful. Small after question: did the COVID-19 pandemic crisis lockdown stopped you from collecting and supporting art?
No, actually, it did not.
Did you take a
Well, I mean,
break?
I have to be honest that I think it was a Sunday when we were in the COVID-19 pandemic, the first 3 weeks or second, third week. I was home. I went to office. I think we had this lunch ordered in, and I had to heat it up ourselves, together with the son of a partner. I called 2 gallery friends in Amsterdam and asked, "Are you open? Are we able to come and see something?" I know people weren't going really, and I felt I needed
Nobody
to
was.
go there, like go and like just say hi, look at what they have, and we bought a few works. Although, so it was not a really. We didn't stop. I think in this period we bought 4 or 5 works in
Amazing.
8 weeks, from small pieces to a bigger. I mean, size is not everything, but I mean in terms of different things, different.
Yes.
Artworks. So it didn't stop, and actually you felt a kind of responsibility, not that a gallery needs it, but you feel like, okay, we have to actively go and maybe see if something we would have bought maybe before or later, do it now.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
My last section of this conversation is the fire questions. I will ask you 5 questions. It's either or, banana or an apple. And you have to answer really fast without thinking. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Tarzan or Robinson Crusoe?
Crusoe.
Fight or flight?
Fight.
Picasso or Monet?
Picasso.
Edith Piaf or Charles Aznavour?
Charles Aznavour.
Great. Thank you, Ali. I would like to give you a small gift as an appreciation of you coming and taking time to slow down with me and think about what happened and what's the future. It's a small replica of the chair you're sitting on. I hope it's a nice memory and reminder.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Ali.
Tomas. I highly appreciate it. Thank you very much.